Today we're in Gloucester at the Marine Railroad, which is a boatyard where guys come to fix up their boats, repair their boats, get them ready for the season. We arrived on a cloudy day with just after the rain. The rain had finished. There were puddles here and there. So that's determined the sort of painting that I want to do today. I'm going to be doing a scene that focuses on a crew repairing their boat, a few guys repairing their boat, and they're there just after the rain is finished, so the ground is wet. There's still a lot of moisture in the air, and as a result, the palette is going to be a subdued palette. I'm using grays of various types. You can see I started with a very light gray in the sky, and while it's still wet, I'm placing this background foliage. The gray is tinted with a little bit of yellow and neutral tint to resemble distant foliage. The distance is enhanced by adding the green while the sky was still wet, so we get soft edges. And you can see we're developing the puddle now. I've drawn a big puddle from my imagination, basically. There was a small puddle nearby, but there was nothing this big. I thought it would be a good exercise in showing reflections in a puddle, so I made it larger, and it's actually taking up almost half the painting. So now I'm adding what will be the shadow or the reflection of the boat overhead. I'm hoping that this will give a strong draw to the left side of the boat, where I'll have a ladder and a few guys on the boat working together. That will be my eventual focal point. Adding a different gray here. This has a little bit more blue to it. When these grays go on, they tend to look really similar. It's hard to see much difference. As they dry, that blue color will come out more. The same with the green in the background. The green will come out a little more as well. And in the reflection, that had a more of a neutral tint or black tone added to keep it, dark and nondescript. The shack in the back is rather finished, so I'm adding now the first layer to the boat. It's a white boat with a beautiful teal rudder that's underneath. Of course, that's all in shadow, so we'll let the front portion, in other words, I guess it's the prow, have a little more of that green color, while in the back it's going to turn to a darker, more nondescript color. So relating these grays is also part of the process. I don't want to use a single gray through everything. I'm trying to keep the colors muted because it's an overcast day, and things are rather dark. Things have a bit of gray added to them, but I want to have a few bright colors here and there. So a little teal into the underside of the boat, a bluer color to the shack that's in the back, and some green in the distant foliage. Helps me to that end. Reflecting some of these darks, the boat is up on a pedestal with all these supports, these wrought iron supports, which help keep the boat upright and stable while you're working on it. It's a great visual image, I feel, to see them, these strong dark lines coming down to the ground, being reflected into the puddle, creates an interesting motif, interesting visual motif. Here we're adding a similar gray, a warm gray, to the antenna and the mast that's on the boat, that's the rigging that we see. It's not a sailboat, this is a working boat, but all these boats have some apparatus or some lines that come off the top. And here I'm actually using it to connect the top to the bottom. This helps to bring the boat forward a little more and push the foliage back a little further. some details in the foreground, and then I'm going to do a little bit into the cabin, creating the windows and the structure of the cabin. And I've left the ground in front unpainted. We'll get to that in the next stage. Okay, so let's move on to the next stage.